for the Daily Detangler. Had a great conversation yesterday with Clarity, and we were talking about the things that are going on and what's going on with different activities. And I was sharing some of my journey on how I create these daily detanglers, and also some of the struggles I have sometimes in keeping focused but just balancing the volume. And thought I would build off of that today with this idea of taking action. And as you know, I've been going through some of the conundrums to try to stay focused and be disciplined. So I want to talk about what I'm learning there and how that's helping me with stone soup. And when I looked at this picture, I look at this a lot, and it's the starting picture of stone soup. It's also the ending picture. And when I listened to Stone Soup again, there was this line, they were on a very, very long journey, a very, very long journey. And they were tattered and broken down. That's a direct quote from Catalyst's reading of the Stone Soup. And these travelers, if you think about it and just kind of project and put yourself in their shoes, what might they be thinking and what might they be feeling? Maybe they're tired, certainly tattered and broken down. That's physically and maybe even mentally, right? And maybe they just feel like the weight's on their shoulders, or they're just trying to survive. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? And one thing's for certain, they're walking, they're hiking, they're in the phase of doing something, right? And when they ran into that challenge of, look, we're depleted, we're hungry, and they had this physical need, the story doesn't say that they turned into an emotional wreck or had a bunch of stinking thinking. There was none of that. They observed their surroundings, and then they engaged. And I said, that's a great lesson learned for me. Sometimes I'm just a little bit lost in the woods, and what can I do, right? Observe and engage. So what does that look like? And when I was thinking about Stone Soup, they have an opportunity to eat, right? Like, if this is the challenge, how are we going to eat? And, how are they thinking about it? Well, one is, they're in the woods, and, in the woods, they are focused on maybe, we're hungry, or what's our situation? We're lost and we're tired and we're depleted. Maybe we need to figure out what to do, or we got to eat. If they're only focused on we're in the woods, what would that lead to? If this was all they thought about, we're in the woods. Maybe a little bit more negatively, these travelers are stuck in the woods. What would that look like? And then what if they framed it a bit differently, and they said, well, we're on a journey. And what would that look like? Well, the questions would pop up. Like, instead of stating what's happening to them, we're in the woods, to me it would be something like, well, what can we do about this? And if we're on a journey and this is just a roadblock and a speed bump on our journey, what can we do, and where should we focus? And let's go to the town. We see a town, let's go there. And I was playing with this because I've been in both situations, and I was talking to Clarity, just how do I think about these detanglers? And when I think about being focused on trying to untangle. These are kind of things that pop into my mind. And when I look at what this does, though, in the simple act of framing, it's like I can get stuck in the past. I'm in the woods. I'm in the woods, and I'm in the woods, or I can focus on the future, and that's exciting. I mean, there's so much future opportunity in Stone Soup. Like the whole story unfolds from this one scene, and there's all this opportunity, and it's exciting because it doesn't necessarily know. You don't know as a listener what exactly is going to happen, and these travelers don't know exactly what they're going to be creating, and that's that's the awesomeness about the story. And I was like, what's happening here when I think about responding to the videos coming in, or when I'm overwhelmed by I need C slides, when I get the activator plea in the act in the acting scenario of this, look at all this C slides we need. I can focus on, man, there's a lot I got to do here. And what would that look like? What would be my focus on? Oh boy, I'm in the woods. I got my to-do list and it's just piling up. Well, with the kids and the travelers, it would be stuff like, well, let's wait for help. We got to figure out how to get this. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough planning. I don't have enough. I don't know. For me, it would be like, I'm kind of in this mode of, I would slip into, my muscle memory would take me to what I don't have if I just focused on I'm in the woods. So the example of that would be, well, I don't have the hours in the day to respond to all these emails. And then just when I'm about to get caught up, another hour long one shows up, and I was going to take my, I could just kind of come up with all these things that are kind of keeping me stuck in the woods. And I would end up into this kind of slipping into this reactive analysis, ad hoc, and it's almost like survival mode. Like, how do I survive in the woods? And so back to Stone Soup, these kids didn't do this, but they were still in the woods, but they didn't end up into survival mode, right? So that's an interesting observation to me. So I said, okay, well, what if they said, well, we're just on a journey and this is just a speed bump, and let's how would I kind of work backwards from that? In my world of here of observing the team, and what does Catalyst call out? Hey, let's observe. We need to document these things as we're going. Let's learn from past mistakes. Let's figure out what worked well. Let's find a way forward, right? That's the catalyst call, towards the hey, we're on a journey. And with these kids on the travelers, it would be like, well, hey, we're on a journey, and you know what, we're hungry, but it's not going to kill us yet, and let's be proactive. What's available, and how do we keep focused? What's our intent here? What are we trying to achieve? Is it literally just to eat, or is there something else? We're on a journey, so let's pick our heads up, right? Let's not go into survival mode and start panicking or hunker down in the woods and feel overwhelmed by our situation. Let's pick our heads up. Let's scan the horizon. Oh, there's a town. Let's keep moving. And that's a kind of a juxtaposition in the story that could pan out there with these Stone Soup scenario of, I'm hungry, we're in the woods, and we're on a journey. And I said, well, this is an interesting parallel, because literally yesterday, I had 30 or so emails flying around, and I was like, I had this idea, we're on his journey, and I was like, I can make this like whiteboard animation thing, and I could script it out, and I could shoot it off to Fiverr and have some guide. I was like, this is going to be cool, it'll help on the journey. And then I kept getting like, my mind kept going to, I'm in the woods. I got faster, right? It was this balancing act, this tension. And I was like, well, maybe it's not one or the other here, right? Like when I sketched this out on paper this morning, and the way I did this was, I was like, hey, we're on a journey. How do I work backwards from this journey? And then I'm in the woods. I mean, it's a situation or whatever. But how do I move forward? And if I only do I'm in the woods, that's going to put me in survival mode. And if I detach from being in the woods and I just go on the journey, I'm going to be in la la land. I could just sit around and navel gaze and wonder about the universe and the journey that we're on the big rock of Earth. I mean, I could galacticize the journey here. So, but both might be, related, or at least, what would happen if I put these together? And I drew a box around it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like this kind of just literally happened this morning of like, this is the tension. Maybe as Catalyst says, how do we lean into that tension? Right? Like, hey, I can't not be in the woods. What am I going to do? Just stop looking at email or stop responding? And I can't not be on the journey. I'm all in, right? So how do I leverage both? And what is that? And one to me is the mission and one is the situation. What's the balancing act? I mean, the situation is the situation. I think obviously I could understand the situation better, right? Like, talk to Catalyst more. I think Activator and what she's sending is really helping me understand the situation that Catalyst is in. And I could spend a lot of time on the situation that we're in, the situations that we're in, and then the mission. I mean, I could spend a lot of time working through that, and if I over rotate to one or the other, I won't be able to do something. What's in the middle, right? Blending both of these together, what would you put in the middle? Pursuing the journey and embracing that we're in the woods, understanding these situations and driving the mission. What would you put in the middle? And I would put, things like our principles, the mindset shifts, things like that, right? Those go in the middle. But I'm talking about the act of producing, and specifically wondering about producing something like producing CSLI and or helping move forward. And I said, well, maybe I'll call that action. Maybe my what I need to do is figure out how to understand the situation, understand and embrace the situations, understand and embrace the mission, and take action. And maybe action is both working backwards from the journey and working forward from the current situation. And if I can take action there, what would that look like? And I went to the mindset shifts, and I said, that architect put together, and he said, in there, these are directly from the mindset shifts, but constant action moves the needle, and co-creating value is partner with other people. Well, that sounds like that's in the box. It's valuable to not think, just do as you go. That works. I'm like, well, that feels good. If I'm in the moment and I'm engaged and I'm creating, which is literally what I did with this detangler. I had no idea. I have no idea. I was telling Clarity yesterday, I don't know what I'm going to make. I have this approach or whatever, but everything I just showed you, I had no idea what I was going to make because I'm just doing it. And so what is that? And the struggle that I want to overcome with my own thinking and getting kind of unleashed, if you will, is this idea it's one or the other. Maybe it's both. So, and both understanding the situation and embracing the mission leads to action. And, that's the tension, and that's good. The more I feel that, the more, action I can take if this is going to work. And I said, well, how would I know what the difference is between action and random activity? Because that's been asked of me before, and that's been asked of Catalyst. Actually, Catalyst has asked that too, right? On a regular basis, what's the difference? And so based on that, I said, well, I know activity feels more task driven, And activity feels more about me, and it's reactive. And I switch from inbox item to inbox item to inbox item. And I feel this anxiety of being time bound. Do it by this time, do it by this time. It's on my shoulder. And because another day has gone by and I'm behind, this idea of how much did I get done is in the back of my mind. And that's how I think about activity. But if I'm going to blend working backwards from the mission and embracing the current situation and taking action, well, I have to put the mission above my own comfort. And I have to focus on more of the long term, vision of where we're going. And then also I need to focus on this idea of being intentional. And if I'm going to make some sort of plan, it's to drive both the situation and the mission. And it's about value, and how much value am I adding? How much value am I creating? So it's the value of what's impacted, the value of what's impacted versus the volume of what's done. So if I'm impacting only myself, versus impacting others or impacting catalyst or impacting clients, am I on the right path? Am I on the path to that type of impact? And that's more in the vein of action. So that's what I'm seeing on the team with like architect and catalyst as they put together their mindset shifts, and activator engaging with the meetings and putting things out. These are calls to action, and they're action oriented around our purpose and our mission. And the sum of that and the sum of the parts is that action changes things. And action where we embrace the mission and understand the situation that we're in and focus on action over activity, we can change things. And this discussion is really important for me to share. It's like this is where progress is. The progress is in the action. The progress isn't in did we get it done. The win is action, because the action creates change and impact, and that's a win. And that's a win. And that's empowering. And therefore I can, thinking about this and going through this, what actions am I taking, and how do I pat myself on the back for taking action, because that's where the change comes from, and that's how we lay planks on the change bridge. And so, I appreciate Activator and Catalyst and everybody that you guys are taking action. I'm learning a lot from the actions that you're taking, and also how you're staying focused on both the mission and embracing the current situation. And to me, it's about when you do that, and you're modeling how to get it right, not be right. So that's principle number 7. It's about getting it right, not being right. And my reminder to myself and to you guys is just take action. Hopefully this helps you think about action, and helps you think through what I'm doing, and I'd love feedback on, are the actions I'm taking actionable and valuable? And then are we able to recognize action over activity? And maybe this is a good start. I don't think this is the full answer, but I think it's a great discussion that benefits us on our change journey, because change happens one act and one action at a time. All right, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate the listening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or Monday.